Welcome to this video where today I'm going to be walking you through the exact content strategy that I use to scale my brand new consulting offer to $25,000 per month within the first 90 days of launching it, but also the exact content strategy that I'm going to be using to scale this same offer to 50k a month within the next 90 days. This is the same content strategy that also helped me grow to 22,000 plus followers. And I just want to emphasize, followers don't really matter, but it's obviously more people to see my content, more people to DM, and more authority in my space. And it also helped me scale my offer fast. This is how much I earned in September, just under $25,000. This is how much I've earned so far in November. We're on the 21st and I've already cash collected 18.5k Great British Pounds. And I've still got another 7k worth of payments coming in. So I'll end the month on about 30k USD. Okay. The problem that most of you are experiencing right now is that the content that got you clients 6 months to 12 months ago doesn't work anymore, right? You've probably found this out yourself. You're using the same exact content strategy that you was using a year ago. And no matter what you do or try, you're not getting as many inbound, you're not getting as many DM responses, and your revenue has either stagnated or it's dropped a little bit, okay? The reason is people don't trust you anymore, okay? And everyone is selling the same exact thing, just packaged slightly differently. Let's look at all of these fitness coaches, right? They all sell fitness coaching. I don't know if James Smith does anymore, but they're all fitness coaches in some way or another, okay? Cruz sells fitness coaching. Sam sells fitness coaching. Coach Blue sells fitness coaching. James did or does, I'm not sure. But anyway, right? The point is they all have the same exact offer. So why would someone go with Coach Blue over Cruz, for example, right? This is the problem you're experiencing. You don't know how to differentiate yourself from the other people in your space. And that's why you're finding that there's so much competition. Okay, because before you could post some free value content, put out a call to action post, for example, comment this or DM me word if you want to work with me, and you'd get inbound leads and sign some clients. But now AI can create free value content. Okay, so all these LinkedIn posts you're looking at, people are not sure if ChatGPT has written that or whether the person that's posted it has written that. And so it's very difficult to stand out by just showing your knowledge because everyone can put out knowledge these days with AI, right? And everyone has been burned by some sort of coach, consultant, or agency owner. They've paid someone and not got the result that they want. And so at the minute, skepticism is extremely high and trust is extremely low. The way that the most successful people in the industry are battling this is they're creating human connection. And they've also been doing this for years because they understood this concept years ago. Let's look at, because you are what differentiates your offer. If you're a fitness coach, for example, and there's 100 other competitors, you putting out a better offer or a better guarantee is not going to get you more clients because everyone else will do the same thing. Or lowering your prices is not going to help you do that because, again, everyone else will do the same thing. The only way you can stand out is by getting people to buy from you for you, not your offer, not your guarantee, not your systems, right? Let's look at Alex Hormozi, for example, okay? He doesn't have a profile that is set up to convert extremely well. There's only one CTA and it's about buying a book. So instantly when people click onto this, they don't feel like they're being sold to. And so therefore their guard gets lowered. And Alex understands why his ICP like him as a person, okay? His ICP are probably super into the gym. They're all married or want to get married at some point and start a family. They're all super focused on business, okay? He understands this to a T. And that's why in his content, he's always talking about his wife, Layla. He's always talking about marriage tips. He's always talking about going to the gym and staying healthy. He's always talking about working hard because people connect with him as a human for them things. So he's doubled down on that. But the number one thing that he's doing is he's not salesy. So when people click onto his profile and they read his posts, their guard gets lowered, okay? Let's look at Iman Gadji as well. Again, his LinkedIn profile is not set up to convert. The only CTA he has is sign up in my bio. And that's not a very salesy CTA. So again, people's guard gets lowered. And he understands what his ICP likes. And they understand why they like him as a person. And so he's doubled down on that. His ICP are super into buying their dream cars. They're super into traveling and going on holidays and living a luxury lifestyle. Okay? And so he's doubled down on that in his content. That's why he's created a second YouTube channel that literally just focuses on his personal life. Because he can then create that human-to-human connection. And again, he's not salesy. So people's guard gets lowered. Consuming these people's content builds trust. Because A, we know them as humans. Not just an expert, not just a business owner, but as humans. We know what their hobbies are, what they get up to in their spare time. And that builds trust. But we also don't feel as if we're being sold to. So that lowers our guard, okay? So how do we create content that sells effortlessly? Well, there's 3 different levers that we can pull. And these are the same exact levers that I pull to scale my consulting offer to 25k a month within the first 90 days. The first lever is YouTube, okay? The problem that most of you are having is that you're spending 80% of your time on LinkedIn and 20% of your time and focus, or even zero, on YouTube. Okay, we need to flip that. Only 20% of your time and focus and energy should be spent on LinkedIn going forward, and 80% of your time spent on YouTube, okay? Because YouTube is what's going to do the selling, right? I have people message me on LinkedIn all the time now saying, hey, just watch your YouTube video. You know, I'm literally just watching your YouTube videos as we speak. Or I've watched this video and I want to book a call with you. YouTube, the videos that they're watching is what is doing the selling for my business at the minute. And then LinkedIn is what pushes them to take action, because once they then DM me, I then go back and forth with them a few times, ask them some questions, book in a call. As you can see, at the beginning of November or mid-November, I had 1 inbound from YouTube that week, and then a few people booked in through the DMs, which they probably came off the back of from my YouTube, right? The reason that the YouTube does the selling so much better than LinkedIn, even Instagram Reels, for example, is that the more time a prospect spends with you, the better. Imagine you went to a coffee shop with a stranger, okay? And you went to the coffee shop with them 100 times, but you only spent 30 seconds with them every single time. You only said hello, how's your day, and then moved on. Okay, how much trust you can have with that person? How well do you feel as if you're going to know them? Probably not much at all. But if you went to the coffee shop even once with that person, and you sat down and you spent 45 minutes with them, you would speak about, you know, their life, their goals, their hobbies, how good they are at business, for example. You're going to walk away with much more trust with that person than you are who you saw 100 times, but for just 30 seconds. This is essentially what a YouTube video is doing, okay? LinkedIn posts are like the little 30-second interactions. People might see you, they might say hello, they might go, oh, that guy's interesting, but they're not going to build that much trust. A YouTube video, they sit down, they watch you for 45 minutes. They can see your body language, they can see how you're talking. You know, you might even drop in a few things you did at the weekend, for example, right? That is what builds the trust. Okay, so the more time a prospect spends with you, the better. Think of this as a buying ladder, right? LinkedIn is what brings in the leads, okay? You put out some good top of funnel content, you get people to like you, you create some curiosity, and then what I do is I drive people to my YouTube channel, because this is where the trust building is done. So above all of my LinkedIn posts, I have a button that says visit my website. That takes people to my YouTube channel, right? They then binge watch a few videos and might spend a week or two watching some. And then eventually they often come back to LinkedIn. They might see another one of my posts and get reminded that they actually really like my YouTube video, for example, or they might just DM me. And that's where I convert them into a sales call, because I go back and forth with them in the DMs, ask them a few questions, get them on a call, right? So how do you know what to create YouTube videos about so you can actually start building trust with your prospects and getting them to buy from you? Well, what I did was I did two things. A, make a list of all of my ICP's limiting beliefs. For example, I need a big audience to sign clients on LinkedIn, or I need to spend 10 hours a day in the DMs to sign clients. And then I also made a list of all of the common objections that I hear. For example, it's too expensive, or I need to think about it. I made a list of all of these in Notion, and then underneath each bullet point, as you can see, I created an idea for a video that I can create to tackle that limiting belief rejection. So an objection that I hear a lot is it's too expensive. So I could create a YouTube video speaking about how I spent $20,000 on mentors at just 20 years old, and it was the best thing that I ever done, and then talk about commitment and the returns that I got off the back of that. That would help people overcome that fear of investing in themselves, right? A limiting belief that people have before they ever work with me is there's too much competition. So I could create a video explaining why you're struggling to stand out on LinkedIn and sign clients. Or this exact video that I'm filming now is going to hopefully break your limiting belief that there's too much competition, okay? Because I'm going to show you my exact content strategy for LinkedIn to make 25K per month. So you want to make a list of all your ICP's limiting beliefs and objections that's stopping them from buying from you, and then create videos that solve each one, right? For example, this one here solved the limiting belief that you need a big team to scale to $75,000 per month. I want people who want to work with me to create a lean business that's high profit, but still high revenue as well, okay? So that video breaks that limiting belief. This video here breaks the limiting belief that you shouldn't raise your prices, because I get a lot of people that come to me, but their offer is just way too low ticket for them to work with me. And so if I can get them to raise their prices before they ever work with me, it means I'm gonna be able to get them much better results, okay? YouTube is literally hammer and chiseling away at my ICP's limiting beliefs and objections. So by the time they get a sales call with me, they've got cash and they're ready to pay me, right? So if you want help coming up with your first 3 YouTube video ideas, pop me a message on LinkedIn, say, hey, I just watched your recent YouTube video. Can you help me come up with my first 3 YouTube video ideas? And I'll send you a Loom, or I'll even jump on a call with you, okay? The second lever that I can pull and that you can pull as well is LinkedIn, right? Most people get LinkedIn wrong. they try and be super salesy on it. They have a CTA or a call to action at the end of every single post. They have a call to action in their headline, a call to action in their banner. And so you're literally fucking up from the first second, because the second that someone reads your post, they feel as if they're being sold to. The second they click onto your profile, they feel as if they're being sold to, right? And being salesy is only going to burn out your audience extremely fast, which leads to a large audience with low revenue, which is not what we want, okay? We want to use LinkedIn to get people to like us, create curiosity in what you do, and then push people across the line, okay? So how do you get them across the line? Using LinkedIn content and DMs, right? Well, there's three main groups that people fall into across any social media, but mainly on LinkedIn, right? There's the guy who is an expert in what he does, and so he teaches everything that he knows. He gives away all of his knowledge, he gives away a ton of info. This is good because he's going to get a load of leads and a load of people following him, but he's not going to convert many people because he hasn't created that human-to-human connection that builds the trust for someone to give him their money, right? And also, because his content is so valuable, people are going to take it away and just try and use it themselves, okay? And just try and implement it themselves without ever paying him. Then you have the opposite end of the spectrum, which is the friend, you know? He's really good at connecting with his audience. People really like him and he builds really good rapport. And that leads to high engagement, but low leads, okay? People like him, they trust him, but they don't know why they should pay him because they can't see that he's good at what he does. So we want to be in the middle here. We want to be a guide. We want to lead people to making the decision. We want to still build trust, but we also want to create belief that we can help them solve their pains and help them achieve their goals. So the way we do that is by mixing the expert and the friend content together. So there's three types of content that I post on LinkedIn to achieve that, right? The first type is teach. This is 40% of my content strategy. I'm going to run you through what all of these are in a minute, by the way. The second type of posts that I put out is share. Again, this is 40%, and then show, 20% of my content. So each week I'm doing 40% teach, 40% share, 20% show. Teach posts are step-by-steps, frameworks, checklists, processes, basically showing people how to achieve a problem or how to solve a problem that they're experiencing. So this post here literally runs through my whole DM strategy, and this is a post I put out on LinkedIn. A good rule to hold yourself to is every single teach post that you put out, someone should want to pay $5 to access the information you're giving away. If someone wouldn't pay $5 to read that post, it's not valuable enough, okay? So you want to be putting out super valuable step-by-step frameworks, etc., okay? I post 3 of these a week. Then I do share content, okay? This is personal stories. This is breaking people's limiting beliefs, and this is creating trust. You can see that this post here, I talk about how at 5K a month I got stuck, and so I tried to work harder. This does 2 things, okay? Number 1, it creates that personal trust because people can see that I've actually been through the journey that they're going through. But also, I break the limiting belief that you don't need to work 8 to 10 hours a day to scale up your business. So by the time someone gets on a sales call with me, that's 1 less limiting belief holding them back, okay? Again, I do 3 of these posts every single week, and then show. These are case studies, testimonials, social proof. For example, here's a post that I put out on LinkedIn showing that my client Alex closed a 12K deal. Right, I do 1 of these every single week, ideally on a Monday, okay? The third lever that we can pull, and this is probably the most important one, is understanding why people buy from you. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in the next few slides, right? The problem that a lot of you have is you don't understand why people like you. You don't understand why people have bought from you in the past. And so you have this inconsistency in your content where one post you're super direct, the next post you're super funny, the next post you're serious, then the next post you're passive. And it creates this inconsistency with who you are as a person and your personality. And that, again, breaks trust, right? Whereas I have figured out that people buy from me because I'm super direct and super logical. And so I make sure to be consistent in all of my content on YouTube and LinkedIn, that I'm always direct and I'm always logical, right? That doesn't mean that you need to be direct and logical because that might not be why people like you. But I've figured out that's why people buy from me, so I've doubled down on that, okay? Let's look at these 2 people who are quite big in the info space, right? We have Alex Hormozi and Frederick Bahus. Alex, a lot in his content, bangs on about, you know, locking yourself in a room, working 12 hours a day, sacrificing everything, sacrificing your lifestyle for 3 to 5 years to make as much money as possible, and then you can relax, right? And he has probably figured out that his ICP like doing that. They like grafting super hard. They like working 8 to 12 hours a day, every single day without fail. They like sacrificing their lifestyle and just stacking up cash. Whereas Fred is the opposite end of the spectrum, right? He talks about working 4 to 6 hours a day with clients that you love, making 30K a month consistently so that you can live a good lifestyle whilst balancing it with your business, okay? That's the stuff that he bangs on about. Okay, they have figured out what their ICP buys from them for and then double down on it. So you want to find out why people have chosen you, not because of your offer, not because of your guarantee, not because of your systems, but why have they chosen you as a person? Okay, now there's a few ways that you can do this. I ask my clients a set of questions. I'm going to give you these in a minute, by the way, but I ask my clients a set of questions every single time I onboard them. But before I did that, I also went back to all of my previous clients and asked them these same exact questions. And I found out, for example, the people were buying from me for my client wins. They were buying from me because they wanted to ramp up the outreach. They were buying from me because my offer of 5 to 10 sales calls a week. Okay. I also found out that they liked how resilient I was and the determination that I showed. Okay. I am now going to double down on talking about DMs, talking about consistent sales calls, talking about my resilience, talking about my determination. Okay. Because my ICP, my exact clients who have paid me, have told me that that's what they like about me. So you need to find out what they like and double down on what they say. So if you want access to the questions that I ask my clients when I onboard them and also all of my previous clients, send me a message on LinkedIn, say, hey Charlie, I just watched a recent YouTube video. Do you mind sending me the questions over so I can get some client feedback? Okay. The reason that you want to do this, and it's so important, is because people buy from people that they like. Think about everything you've ever bought. You probably liked the person you were buying from to some extent, right? And even if you was about to buy something and then you found out that the guy was a prick or he pissed you off, I very much assume that you probably didn't buy from him after that because you're like, I'm not giving this guy my money. I don't like you, right? People buy from people that they like and trust. That's never going to change no matter how much AI gets integrated into business. So the people who create human-to-human connections are the ones that are going to be super sustainable in their business, okay? Now, the way that you create trust with people and get people to like you as a human is you share your personal values, you share your client results, your personal beliefs, your philosophies around business, your unique approaches to doing certain things, your lifestyle, your hobbies, your personality, right? For example, I know that people like me because I'm super direct and logical. That's my personality. I know that a lot of my clients are into traveling and cars, so I double down on showing my hobbies in my content. I know that a lot of people like me because I speak about supporting my future family and, supporting my girlfriend, my clients, my friends, etc. So people see them values and they go, actually, this guy's very similar to me. I too like traveling. I too like cars. I too want to support my future family. Let me work with this guy because I like him. Okay. I have found what people like working with me for, and I just double down on that in my content. Okay. The core takeaway that I want you to take away from this video is prospects don't fall in love with the offer. They don't fall in love with the guarantee. As much as that builds a lot of trust and might get them across the line, they fall in love with the person selling it, okay? And so that is what you need to find out and double down on. Why do people work with you for you? Double down on it in your content. That's what's going to get you to 50, 70, 100K a month because that's going to help you. That's what's going to help you stand out against all of the competition and build a ton of trust so that you stay in this game for the next 5 to 10 to 20 years, not just the next year and burn for all your audience, okay? So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you got a ton of information and free value from it. I hope you're actually going to implement some of this stuff into your business. If you want help scaling your business to consistent $25,000 per month or more, click the link in the description. It's going to give you a link to book a call with me and we can have a chat and I'll see if you're a good fit. If not, I hope you got a ton of value. I'll see you next week.